And if I look at Facebook presence of Amazon sellers as well, this is what they do. They're just selling. It looks like this. It's just all sale and buy discounts, and that's not what the audience wants to see. They want to interact with your business because they want to be entertained, or they want to have a problem solved, or you need to be interactive with your audience. And the world is changing. This is the old way: awareness, consideration, they do a purchase, retention. That's it, but not anymore. What you need to do now is every time you need to get into the mind of the customer and do all kinds of crazy things to get them buy your product. So a Tripwire, social media, paid media, core offer, upsells, downsells, follow-ons, messaging. So there's a lot more going on to get the client interested in your product. So I always talk about the snowball effect. If you do all those pieces of the puzzle, and I just shared it when I came in, I have good and bad news. The good news is anyone can do it. The bad news is it's a lot of work, but the reward will be there. If you do everything in this piece of the puzzle, then you get a snowball effect. It will be hard to push that snowball up the mountain, but when it starts to grow, you can almost release it and it will grow on autopilot because Google will love you for it. There's a lot of people going to your Amazon listing and your website. You can run ads again to your website and your Amazon listing. It picks up, get more people. You use social media to leverage your product. So this one gets bigger, and your ads will be cheaper. You communicate with your people, and that's how you grow the snowball model. And let's start with the money side. Your website, I talked about you need to be in control. So anyone should have a Shopify store or something like that. You can create your own store and sell your products there. Or if you just want to be solely on Amazon, create a blog. Create a blog like this. Write about your products. Get rankings on Google, because I said if you rank on Google, you will rank high on Amazon as well. And just send people straight to your Amazon listing. That's also something you can do. So there are two ways to do it. And make it very easy to connect. The one thing Google looks for when it scrolls your website is credibility. Trust and credibility. And how do you get trust and credibility? Put a phone number at the top. Hardly anyone will call you because we're so used to send messages. But the phone number is one of the things that Google checks for because they want to see that you are for real. And if you're out there and say, hey, this is my phone number and this is my address, the About Us section, the Contact Us section is also important. That's the easy way to get rankings. And of course, the Messenger bot, you can just incorporate it in your website. And as I said, you can automate 90% of all your frequently asked questions. And it's so easy to do. So this is voted the worst website of the year. And anyone will know why, of course. There's no usability. It's not easy to navigate. And that's also something that Google looks for. It needs to be good in design. And they need to see what you can do on the website like this. And this is not what you can do. Then, of course, if you go for a URL, make sure it's credible. There are a lot of things you also cannot do. Hyphens, make it as short as possible. Always go for a .com. So if you do not have a website yet, a URL, make sure it's legible, because if you go to Penn Island, and I'm almost afraid to show it, they did it. And this is not something you want to have your brand shown out for. So if you create a blog or a website, make sure your URL is legible. And if you go for the domain names, I always go to namemesh.com. In namemesh.com, you can put in all kinds of variations of your product, and it will show you what URLs are still available. And it's a great tool to get the best URL for your business, because it's still, Google looks at your URL. They want to see what you're doing. So if you I sell, let's say kitchenware.com, Google knows you're selling kitchenware, so they will rank you high for I sell kitchenware. And if you buy domains, I said that I'm a little cheap. I'm from the Netherlands. So go to namecheap.com, because they also do what they're saying. The URLs are 50% cheaper than on GoDaddy. So those are excellent tools to, you can also do the hosting. You can do hosting for as low as $2 a month. So there is no reason why not to have at least a blog post. And if you have a WordPress website, I love WordPress websites, you can go to yoast.com and download their plugin. It's a free plugin. and it will show you if your content is Google proof. If you write a blog post, let's say 500 words, and as long as this light is not turned into green, then it's not Google proof. So if you want to rank for keyword, let's say home and kitchenware, and you wrote an awesome blog, and if it turns green, then you know that it's quality, that it's good enough. Because a lot of people do keyword stuffing here. They say, oh, if I talk about home and kitchenware 100 times, then it's okay, but that's not what you want to see. You need to do some keywords like 5 or 6 times, that's enough. And this is an excellent tool to use it. And what do you need to put on your website? A lot of people say, I don't know what to do. Well, if you only do one thing that is here in one day, so you have an article, a press release, video, podcast, live streaming, infographics, I said that you can download the slides at the end. If you just do one thing a day, then you almost have content for the rest of the month. So it's very easy to do. And testimonials are important. White papers, tips and tricks, facts about your product. You can basically put in anything you want. And I have a great logo. Also with logos, a lot of people go wrong. This one is one of my best, the Institute of Oriental Studies. It's actually crazy that a designer, I think they did it on purpose. But be aware of that. Your logo should be mobile friendly as well. 70% of all traffic is done on mobile phones. So that's one thing you need to be careful of. And this is the first warning. Don't outsource your website to a nephew or whatever. And I talked to a client the other day, and I was really banging down on his website. And I said, "Are you still there?" Because it got silent. He said, "Yes, but my wife is doing the website." So he was in for a treat, I think, that night when he had to talk to his wife, because it's a real serious business. You cannot just hire someone, a VA or whatever, for $5 an hour and create my website and I'm done. It's a real professional business because, as I said, if you rank number 1 on Google for your product, you will rank number 1 on Amazon without any PPC. So if we go to Google, there are 3 things that are very important. I said it, your own page. That means the content on your page. This should be easy to navigate. It should be quality content. Because if Google sends someone to your website and they drop off within 8 seconds, it means they were not interested in your content. And Google will think twice about sending another person to your website. That is what I said, provide value first and the money will follow. It's the same with Google, because if they send people to your website and they drop off within seconds, then that means they did a lousy job, and maybe they go to Bing the next time. So that's why they're so on top of their game there and want to see what articles you have on your page. They need to spend 50 minutes, as an example, on your website, because you have instruction videos, you talk about the best products, the 5 things you can do with it, the 5 things you should not do with it, all that kind of things. And if you have it on your website, you will be rewarded for it. And you can sign up for Google Analytics. That's also a free tool from Google. It shows you exactly how many people are visiting your website, what content they're clicking on. And you can even install the app, and you see it's like a heat map where people click on. And if you see that anyone goes down and 50% clicks on your content below, put that content all the way at the top, because that's what people love to see. And another thing is your authority. That means other websites that are talking about you. If you are featured on Forbes, it means you're a very important brand, and Google will love you for that as well. And one tactic we use, I will talk about it in a minute, is press releases, for example. And why should you care about SEO? Well, 80% of all clicks is still done through the free organic part. Only 18 or 20% will click on the ads. People are not used to click on the ads because you want to sell something. And that's what I say, don't be in their face selling stuff. Create something here in the organic section about why should they use your product and how should they use it and why they should care. And as I said, 80% of the clicks are free. Well, you know everything about keywords. Sometimes I'm in an audience and they say, hey, what's a keyword? But in this case, you can write all different things about this pen or a Sharpie or a purple or whatever. And I will show you also a few tools you can use for that purpose. So if I go to Amazon bestsellers, just as an example, and I say here, flea and tick color, let's say this is my product. I go to a tool called SERPstat, and again, it's a free tool. You can just put in flea and tick collar, and you see that 3,600 people in America look for flea and tick collar every month. It's free organic traffic. So if you can rank number 1 for flea and tick collar, that means you get 3,600 people from Google every month for free. And yeah, that's amazing. You don't have to do anything for it. And if you look here, and again, you can find it all in SERPstat.com, the keyword difficulty, so how hard is it to rank number 1 for that keyword? It's 8 out of 100. So it's very easy to rank for flea and tick collar. Be a little creative, the 5 things you should not do with your dog if they have fleas, for example. I will click on it if I have a dog, or the 5 things you should not do with your cat, or the 10 things people forget to do with flea collars or whatever. So it's a very easy way to see how much volume do you have. You can also do long tail keywords, flea and tick collar to buy or whatever, or flea or tick collar on Amazon, and incorporate those keywords in your text, in your blog post. So for example, now you need to share your blogs on social media. Let's say I write an article about 5 flea and tick treatments that don't work. I will click on them if I have a dog. I have a cat, by the way, but I will click on it. And you see also here, it's a 4-minute read. You want to instruct your people that they're not bored to death with an article that will be on for hours and hours. 4 minutes, people think, okay, 4 minutes, very good. And this is just done in WordPress. If you have the right WordPress theme, it will show you how long you can read this article. Put it on Facebook and link it back to your website. And that's what I said about the snowball model. If you have quality content, you use Facebook to leverage that purpose, that content. Draw them back to your website. Google will pick up and send you more people. And then you grow on autopilot. And this is a tactic I got from Ezra Firestone. He's using the same thing, the top 5 makeup tips. Not salesy at all, it's a quality video. You click on it, you go to the website, and it's not clickbait because the top 5 makeup tips are here, so you can read everything about it. And halfway there, he starts promoting his products. That's not a problem because people came for the top 5 makeup tips. They got the top 5, and now they see the product. So they click on the product, have an awesome video there, and Rob will talk about that in the afternoon. And then they go to the shopping cart. It's as easy as that. Just quality content, use social media to leverage, and then you will get the sale. And just to show you how awesome this works, this is what we did for a client last year. We got 900,000 clicks straight from Facebook to the website, and we spent $4,500 at it. Our CPC was 0.0005 cents. And why? Because Facebook and also Google will reward you for quality content. They will get the money from the competitor. If people start to get crazy over your content, and in this case we had a 16% click-through rate, so that's awesome, like the one I showed you by the 5 tips and tricks about flea and tick collars you should not use, then you will not have to pay. It's the same with Google Ads. If you are awesome and your quality score is very high, that means your website is one of the best in its field, they don't want your money. They will get the money from the competitor. And this is the best way to get a very low PPC for an awesome price. And another thing we use the second thing is SEOtesteronline.com. Let's say you created your own store or your own blog post. You want to know how Google looks at your website, and you can use this tool. It's also a free tool. Just put in your URL and it will give you a score, and you'll see your social presence, the basic functionality of your website, your content, your web performance and your mobile performance. And if something is lagging, you will see it here, and then you need to improve that. And it gives you an awesome score about how Google looks at your website. Then we have the authority. Other relevant websites, that's important, will talk about you. And the one that is talk about the last will get the credits. We use a tool called Ahrefs for that. You can see exactly what other websites are ranking to you. And it's very important. And one thing you should never do is buy links. I here just grabbed one from Amazon, Waste Kings, and don't hope anyone from Waste Kings is in the audience. If you look at their backlinks, so how many other websites are talking about Waste Kings, 1,000. And if I look at the score, 99% of all those links come from Russia. So if I can see that in seconds, it means they want to rig the system. They did something nasty, buying links. Never buy links. There are actually agencies out there that say, oh, I can give you 10,000 links. And you think, oh, I want 10,000 links. But if they all come from Russia, you will get penalized for it. You can see here, and I will get out of the picture, 97% of all the links they got are spammy links. And those algorithms are so enormous big, and they know everything about you. And even if you can see it in Ahrefs in seconds, then you know that this is not something you want to do. And I talked to a client, and I said, we need to get rid of your backlinks. And he said, yeah, but I paid $3,000 for it. I said, those are spammy. And he got almost 4,000 backlinks. You can disavow them. You can say to Google, I don't want those links because I think they're spammy. And we got rid of 90%, and you see our score went up 1.7 million. So Google rewarded us for saying, we don't want to rig the system, and I don't do anything black hat. Everything we do is white hat. And if you do it the right way, those backlinks are relevant for this niche. And it doesn't matter about the high number, it's about the value. And you see, if you get rid of a lot of those backlinks, then it's actually very good. Another thing that's very sad about us nowadays, our attention span is lower than a goldfish. It used to be 12 seconds that we got bored, but nowadays it's 8 seconds, so it's actually 2013, so maybe it's even less now. So that means that if you have a website and it takes 3 or 4 seconds to load, people will jump off, they will get bored. And I use a tool, it's hard to read, it's gtmetrix.com. It's also a free tool. You can put in your website there and you can see exactly how the score is. And you should think that Fortune 500 companies would be on top of their game. Well, if you look at $3, it takes 11 seconds to load. And 11 seconds on a mobile phone, that's 1, 2, 3, people are off, they're gone. So if it takes 11 seconds for a website to load, it's ridiculous. And that for a Fortune 500 company, it's incredible that they just throw away their whole website like this. And you get penalized by Google as well, because they will never get you any traction, any reach, because 11 seconds is way too long. So here's an example, and all the way at the end, I like to do a live example if anyone wants to jump their website at me. But first I will show you an example I did here on the slides. And here again, with those 3 things, the SERPstat, GTmetrix, and SEO Tester Online. So let's say this is my brand, Serenity Valley. I'm in the hemp business, and this is my website. Well, it looks nice, But then we go into SERPstat. You see, I rank for 241 keywords. I get 250 people for free from Google every month. And something strange, I'm not sure if anyone is in the hemp, but marijuana socks, never heard of it. 1,000 people look for marijuana socks every month. So maybe that's something you should go for. But you see 250 words. Here are the competitors. You also see that in SERPstat, a lot of them. You see also what their traffic is. So let's just grab one. This is one of the competitors that's in the list, CBC Sense. And they got ranked for 2,000 keywords. They got 144,000 people for free from Google every month. So if we go back a little, you see here, I only got 250 people. And they got 150,000 almost for free. So, well, let's take a closer look at what they are doing. And you see here, the traffic trend went up only in March of this year, 24 of May even. And they ranked very high, so they did a lot of things. And we can find out what they did and then replicate it. One thing I always do is look at their pages with the highest visibility. So what are pages that people actually click on? And here the cannabis oil, or here their user manual, for example, they get 250 people every month on their user manual. And that's what I said, if you are interesting and entertaining and problem solving, then people will go for you. The difference between pure and raw CBD oil. And what I'm going to do now, if Serenity Valley was my brand, I'm going to replicate all those articles, make them even better, and then send them to Google and say, hey, you ranked CBC Sense for that article, but did you check my blog post? Because mine's much better. And if they send the traffic to you instead of CBC Sends, then you will see an enormous spike in your content and your traffic. Also, if you look at GTmetrix, we're going to go for the speed. With Serenity Valley, it takes 8 seconds. So that's why I don't get so many keywords. But because you will see that CBC Sends, it loads in 4 seconds. And the difference between 8 and 4 seconds is enough for Google.
What would you say is a load time that you should aim for?
Hold on. The question was the load time. What's the best load time? And it's around 3 seconds. This is not bad at all. You can also look at your competitors. If they're all just slower than you are because you have a lot of images you want to show them, yeah, then it's enough. But I always go for around 3 seconds. So, and then we see the SEO tester online. You see that my website gets 40 out of 100. You see I have very bad web performance, mobile performance. I don't have any content at all. Then, I only get 40 points, and CBC Sends got 68. So, and that's not that great at all. You need to have 75 or up. So that means there is a lot of room for me to grow. If I outrank them and go to 75 because I have a better social presence of more content, then I will outrank them and I will get the 150,000 people. Yeah, I talked about the press releases. It's very important because if you do a press release, you get featured on CBS News, Fox News, NBC, and a Google crawler comes in. They go to Fox News and they see, hey, it's your brand, CBC Valley or whatever. And they say, oh, it must be important because it's on Fox News. And they will credit you for it, and you will go higher in the ranking. And it's one thing I do with Norm. I'm not sure if you know Norm Farrar, but the bearded guy, very famous. And he owns his own press release company. So if you want to do press releases, we can do that for you as well. And why is it important? We got a client with a long tail keyword. He ranked 17. And we did it with any rebates. We just did a press release, and he got from 17 all the way up to 1. And yeah, that's incredible. We did another one for the primary keyword. And unfortunately, I never disclose my clients because I think everything is replicable. I will show you a few techniques. If I say this is my client, you can see what we're doing. And that's why we're not doing it. But in this case, we did it with rebates. He was ranked 94 when we started. And we got him all the way up to 1. And you see spikes here going down, and that's because he didn't have any money for his inventory anymore. He sold so much product that he ran out of cash to get new inventory going up. And when that was fixed, we got him ranked number 1 again. And it's incredible, because then you can see an enormous spike. And yeah, press releases anywhere go from $300 to $400 per piece, but it can be very rewarding to do it. Yeah, and above all, I keep selling it. If you post something and your audience is this what it is? Always provide value, and that's the most important thing.